Hello and welcome to this recorded webinar focusing on the top 10 tips for teaching Monster Phonics this academic year. My name is Dan and I'm one of the trainers for the Monster Phonics scheme. If you do have any emails at the end of this webinar or any questions you want to ask. Hello and welcome to this recorded webinar focusing on the top 10 tips for teaching Monster Phonics this academic year. My name is Dan and I'm one of the trainers for the Monster Phonics scheme. If you have any questions at the end of this webinar, please do feel free to email us at info@monsterphonics.com. This webinar is primarily aimed at NQTs who are perhaps new to Monster Phonics or teachers who are new to Key Stage 1 and may feel they benefit from some additional support within their phonics teaching. Before we begin, it's worth noting that there are some tips in this webinar for helping bridge the gap post-COVID-19. So obviously with the school closures earlier this year, we're aware that lots of children have missed out on that really vital phonics teaching. So there are a couple of tips in here to help bridge that gap come September. So let's start with tip number 1. Follow the planning. So the beauty of Monster Phonics for teachers is everything is ready for you to go off and teach. Whether you're in reception, year 1 or year 2, you simply log in, go to the term that you're teaching, the week and the day, and simply open the resources. Each lesson comes with a PowerPoint, a video which contains a song or a story, and an activity. We then also have a huge array of resources to complement each graph theme. The planning, you'll be pleased to know, is aligned with the government-approved letters and sounds document, so teachers can follow our planning knowing that they are covering the necessary content in the right order. It's also worth noting that the scheme also now follows the new early years baseline assessment framework, which comes in September 2020. Some schools are now choosing to teach 2 phonics sessions a day to assist with bridging the gap due to the school closures, and you can do this by simply just following the plan as you normally would, but instead of doing 1 session a day, doing 2 sessions a day. So using the website, you have unlimited access for all of your staff on multiple devices to the Monster Phonics website. This includes the overview of the whole scheme, adaptable planning, lesson resources including the songs, the videos and the PowerPoints, assessment tools and display resources. The scheme provides a curriculum overview for the entire programme which details both philosophy and content. This provides a simplistic overview of the programme for all practitioners to follow with ease and with confidence. The website is broken down into separate year groups, so early years, year 1 and year 2, and every section includes a weekly plan for each term, which are all editable to suit your cohort. This ensures that teachers are both supported to deliver the scheme and have the freedom to adapt as they see fit. Each year group has week-by-week adaptable planning, follows the basic structure of a normal phonics session, where you would review and recap previous learnt sounds, teach the new phoneme or tricky words, practice the new learning, and then applying it all with engaging multisensory activity. Within each section of the year group area, the website is broken down even further, as shown on the screen now. You have the option to either look at the termly overview plan or each individual term. If you click on the term, as shown on the screen, the planning will be laid out week by week, and the corresponding resources needed to teach are then on the right of the screen. In some weeks, there may be more than 1 phoneme that's covered, so the resources are in the colour-coded folders, as shown at the bottom of your screen. Individual lesson plans are included for most lessons. They detail the range of activities and how best to deliver the session. It also includes word lists to support subject knowledge and suggestions for differentiation. So looking at the delivery of a typical Monster Phonics lesson, it is the simple PowerPoint, song, story and activity. Each lesson has a range of resources to accompany them. They all include an introductory PowerPoint, which again is ready to download and use and can be adaptable for your own style of teaching. There is usually a song or a story that includes the words used in the word list for that phoneme and an activity to accompany the applying part of the sessions. Each PowerPoint provides opportunities for reading and highlighting spelling rules, which is a huge benefit when considering the value of a teacher's time. And then all graphemes have an extensive word list. So the design of the word list shows the most common words for every grapheme to increase reading and spelling accuracy. One way we've used these to differentiate is by adding images to scaffold understanding of the children of the word, and then remove the colour to extend any high ability children to help them identify these words in key texts. The main activities also focus on the word lists and encourage children to read and spell the words in order to remember them. The activities are all varied and multisensory, making learning exciting and memorable. And then, as stated earlier, each individual lesson plan includes ideas for both support and extension, depending on your children's level of need. This helps support learners who find phonics challenging and extending activities which focus on grammatical advances. There's also an extensive range of downloadable resources that are all included in your subscription. These include word searches, revision materials, flashcards, and online stories. And then there's also a wealth of additional resources available to purchase on the website. This is something that Ofsted favours when there is evidence of matching resources to support the class teaching and further their understanding. So these include spelling books for the entire scheme, magnetic letters to support that multisensory approach, complete reading schemes, posters and display resources, and apps available to download to support children at home and also in class. So let's have a look at tip number 2. Engage in the silliness. So what makes Monster Phonics so great is the context of the characters. Each character has a backstory and the children love hearing about them. Use the context to your advantage and engage in the silliness. So here are some ideas that have been shared by some of our Monster Phonics schools where they embrace the silliness. So if we have a look at the first one, Tricky Witch. So this school have said, my children think Tricky Witch works in Asda. She sees me getting my shopping and sets me challenges for the class. My children love it. The middle one for Miss Ono. Miss Ono is very clumsy, so we covered all of the O sounds we found with plasters. And then the last one, Angry A. Because Angry A is so angry, we made our own Angry A pinata. We hung him off a tree and children had to give us an Angry A word in order to be able to hit Angry A with the stick. When the sweets fell out, the children were beside themselves. And then some more examples here. When the children came in from the playground, the room was dark and there was a cauldron in the middle of the room. In the cauldron was a jar, an arm, a car, and a star. The children had to work out what Tricky Witch sound we would be learning today. Cool Blue is a DJ, so whenever we learn a Cool Blue sound, we turn the lights off and we play Cool Blue music. Green Froggy puts all of her words onto lily pads. The children had to fish the words out of the water and try and read the word before putting it back into the water. So it just gives you an example there of some of the schools that are doing things that really just engage in the silliness and really takes that context to life, making it so much more engaging for the children. Some schools are now also looking at hosting Monster Phonics days that are dedicated to one particular monster, with an array of activities in order to catch up on the missed lessons during school closures. So it's an idea to maybe think about focusing on one monster and having a day dedicated to that monster to be able to cover various graphemes in one day and catch up since the school closures. So, tip number 3. Adapt to your environment. You are the professional. Everything on Monster Phonics is adaptable. If something does not work for you, change it and be confident in your professional judgment to do so. At the end of the day, you are the person that knows those children the most. And if you know that something won't work and something else will, change it. Be confident in what you decide to do. Our PowerPoints can be downloaded and edited, so if you want to focus more on a grapheme or if you want to include additional intervention material, you can add and amend as necessary for you and your cohort. This can also prove useful when adapting any planning to catch up on lessons missed due to the school closures. So just remember that you're the person who knows the children best, so you do what you think will work best. And if that means adapting or amending some of the material provided to you, then that's what you need to do. Tip number 4, make it visual. The children grow to love Monster Phonics and the teachers do too. So it's only right that they see them everywhere they go. So here are some ideas on how to make it visual. So Monster Phonics does quickly become a whole school programme embedded within the environment and everyday school life. And this enables the children to be constantly using, applying and reviewing and revising their phonics knowledge. So it can be displayed in various ways. So make your displays really, really engaging. Use colour-coded signs. If you have a sign that says toilet this way, make it colour-coded to match the monsters. Put passwords on doors, like you can see in the picture there, that the children have to read when they go into a classroom or come out of a classroom. Put stickers on children's jumpers when they've learned a new sound so that other teachers can engage with them around the school during the day, so that phonics is not just part of the session, it's drip fed throughout the whole day. Use the posters, put them everywhere, use the flashcards, hide the flashcards around the classroom, hide flashcards in children's book bags so that they're constantly coming across these words and these monsters. And use outside resources to your advantage. Put the monsters up in your outside areas, put them in your playground, and encourage children to be playing games that are centred around the monsters and therefore centred around phonics. Tip number 5. Multisensory is key. The multisensory approach to phonics is hugely encouraged by us at Monster Phonics, and our multisensory diet explains all. So our multisensory toolkit focuses on all the different ways, and I'm sure there's many more than we've got here, but the ways that we think you can bring the phonics teaching to life. So using the videos, all of our lessons come with interactive videos that can be used alongside the lesson. They often include catchy songs which help the children remember some of those key words. Using action songs, making up the actions to the songs is a great way to help solidify the learning. Physical games, incorporating Monster Phonics into your PE lessons is a great way to expose phonics in other areas of the curriculum. Some schools have created outside games where children need to pick up a word from a bucket and then run to the correct monster and put that word in the correct monster's box. So that just brings another strand to your phonics teaching, being able to cross-curricular it with a PE lesson. Model making, using manipulatives to make monsters, make graphemes or to make words, help children, especially those kinesthetic learners. Storytelling, get lost in the storytelling. Watch our online stories on YouTube, read our reading schemes and write your own stories. Digital games, you can download some Monster Phonics apps, or you can download just simple colour in paint apps where the children can use the colour coding to aid their phonics skills. Magnetic letters, so using resources such as this can be useful, especially for your reluctant writers. And if you have a child who is anxious to write, it may switch them off from phonics, where if they had something like magnetic letters, it may bring their phonics understanding to life. Card games, playing matching games, pairing games, snap games can really, really bring the children out when they're coming to be exposed to their phonics. It can really help them solidify some of their new sounds. Using pens and pencils to draw, paints to paint, to draw the monsters, to paint the monsters, to write the words. It can help children remember what they have learned. And writing, lastly, in various styles, using the accompanying resources, writing a letter to Miss Oh No, writing a song because Cool Blue loves music, writing a spell because Tricky Witch is working on her spells. Really bring, as we were saying before, engaging that silliness, bring the context to life and let the children write stuff like that that's different from them just writing the word or writing simple sentences. Tip number 6. Engage your parents. Your class will be learning a lot about the monsters and they will be so excited to talk about them at home. Parents are probably not going to be familiar with the monsters and they're not going to understand how they help their children decode words. So engaging the parents can really aid reading at home. So here are some ideas to engage your parents. You can send resources home. Monster Phonics has resources that are ready to print and ready to be sent home, so children can see the monsters at home and parents can begin to understand how the monsters work. Explain the scheme. Tell them what the scheme is about, which I'll explain a little bit more of on the next slide. Send them to the Monster Phonics video. There's a Monster Phonics video on the website that introduces the monsters and how they work. Invite them to chat about the monsters, invite them into the school to chat about Monster Phonics, and direct them to our webinars that we host for parents especially. So we all now know, especially over the last 6 months, that we are only part of children's learning journey, and that alongside us, nothing can be as successful without the support of primary school, the teachers and the parents. So ensuring that we have parents on board with the new approach has ensured that the running of Monster Phonics has gone from strength to strength. One of our lovely Monster Phonics schools have come up with some really great ideas on how to get the support of parents who would never have seen the scheme before by holding weekly stay and play sessions. They've used all of the interactive games that weans the learning. They're using all of the multisensory approaches to demonstrate to the parents how they can support their children at home. Using coloured Play-Doh and recently more adding scents to the Play-Doh. So now each monster has a scent. Angry A is strawberry, Yoo-hoo is lavender. For example, it helps to encourage both the parents and the children to make 3D words and has been very successful. So let the parents in, explain to the parents how it works, invite the parents into sessions, and advise them how they can help with home reading. So no programme would be a success without the support of our parents. So holding information evenings, Monster Phonics has a simple leaflet that can be printed and you can hand it to the parents and has a copy of all the monsters and the phonemes that they represent so they can reference this at home. Putting on some multisensory activities to demonstrate what they can do at home to help their child is also useful. Sharing the resources, as I've said, and the parent webinars. So Monster Phonics run parent webinars for you to share with your parents. They are followed with details about the Monster Phonics programme and how they can support their child's learning at home, and also just explains a little bit more about how phonics works. And on the screen there, you can see the upcoming parent webinars. So there's 2 in October, 2 in November, and 2 in December, and they take place at 8 p.m. in the evening. If you have got parents who are interested to sign up, they can sign up via the Monster Phonics website, www.monsterphonics.com/training. Tip number 7, baseline your children. All children are different, and it is important that we celebrate every single success in order to improve their confidence. Children learn at different paces, and although in some situations, such as the phonics screening test, a pass rate is required, we should always be celebrating independent success and achievement. Baselining your children early on in the year will help you keep track on their progress. If you get to the screening test and they don't quite meet the pass rate, they still may have made exceptional progress for themselves, which should always be celebrated. So Monster Phonics has an array of assessment tools which can aid baselining your children, and some of these you'll see on the screen now. So the assessment areas within each year group provides a range of resources and dedicated tasks which aim to make sure teachers are well equipped to assess their children's understanding. These come in the form of formative assessment tasks, for example in year 1, which take place after every 8 or 9 lessons, where learning is tested for a set of dictations. Individual recording sheets allows the spellings to be recorded and used by the teachers. These assessments can also be used to inform the teacher assessment frameworks at the end of Key Stage 1. Using some of the assessment tools as baselines can prove effective in benchmarking your cohort, with some pupils missing out on up to 6 months of learning because of lockdown. It is advisable that baselining children will help to reassess where they are at currently. Tip number 8. Contact Monster Phonics. We are always on hand to help in any way we can. If you have any questions, ideas, suggestions, we would absolutely love to hear from you. So you can call us on 0800 211 8052. You can email us at info@monsterphonics.com, And you can contact us using the website www.monsterphonics.com. I cannot stress enough, we love supporting in any way we can. So if there's anything we can do for you, please do just let us know. Tip number 9, invite Monster Phonics to your setting. So the best part by far of our job is going into schools and seeing Monster Phonics be brought to life. Because it's a scheme made by teachers for teachers, we get the pressure, we get the stress that teachers are under, especially with such a short time to be able to teach phonics every day. Invite us in to see what you're doing, to show you off to our other Monster Phonics schools. We love for you to invite us in, because then we can see what you're doing and interact in your setting and show you off on our social media pages. If you'd like us to, we can advise on tips and tricks on how to further develop your school using Monster Phonics, and we can also advise on how to best close the gap post COVID-19. So please do not be afraid to ask us to come and visit, to come and see what you're doing, and to come and enjoy Monster Phonics in your setting. And finally, as I'm sure you are now bored of listening to my voice, tip number 10. Join our community and share your ideas with other like-minded teachers. We have many schools now who create their own resources using the monsters, and they love sharing their ideas and resources to other teachers. So we encourage you to come and see what they do and see that the ideas that you can take from them, and share your ideas with them also. So we have a Facebook group where teachers share their ideas. We also have a Twitter and Instagram page. So you'll see there an example of the schools making their own resources using the monsters, and they love sharing their ideas. So having a look there at some of the displays that certain schools have made. And you can join the Facebook group at Monster Phonics or Monster Phonics Resources. You can join Instagram at Monster Phonics, and then you can also visit our YouTube page, Monster Phonics, which has some stories and a bit more information about the scheme. So that brings us to an end of this webinar. So thank you for listening. I hope it's proved useful for you. Like I say, if you do have any questions, email us at info@monsterphonics.com. Remember, you're the teacher, you're the professional, you know what you need to do to help bring those children to the next level. But remember that we're on hand to help in any way we can. So please do reach out to us. And if you follow these 10 tips for the academic year, you will already be on your way to teaching children phonics, and more importantly, helping them to love reading. Thank you for listening. My name's been Dan. Just to confirm, if you have any questions, info@monsterphonics.com. Thank you.